You enter the room, and this one is just covered in blood. Floods of crimson are pouring from a fountain in the center. It rains down on everything in sight. The floors are slick, and the smell overwhelms everything. There's so much blood everywhere. You can't get it off of you. It's all over your face and in your mouth, and the iron taste is just... Hey, it's Tim here, your average dungeon master and amateur bar master. Today, I'm making a bloody mess. So for this mocktail, I'm using a combination of red liquids to make it the bloody mess. I'm using ruby red grapefruit juice and blood orange juice, and grenadine and passion fruit tea. To build my cocktails and my mocktails, usually I've got a pretty standard ratio of 2 parts to the base, 1 part to a sour, and 1 part for sweet. So for this mocktail, I've got 2 parts of my base, which is going to be my tea, my passion fruit tea. It's kind of a sour, bitter tea. It's a very interesting flavor, and it's pink and red, so it makes my cocktail look awesome. So I'm going to use 2 parts of tea for base, and then I'm going to kind of split the acid between grapefruit and blood orange. Blood orange is definitely not as tart as the grapefruit, so we'll use more grapefruit for the tartness. And then the blood orange juice kind of fulfills all 3 parts, to be honest with you. It's neutral like a base, it's got some acid for my sour, and it's got some sweetness for the sweetener. So I'm going to use it to kind of modify all 3 things. And then grenadine, I've talked about before, I've made it, I've talked about how to make it. It's just passion fruit syrup.
Passion fruit?
Nope, did I say passion fruit?
Yeah.
Pomegranate. Grenadine is just pomegranate syrup. So pomegranate juice, sugar, you can use orange blossom water to add an extra dimension to it. You can also use pomegranate molasses. Some of the recipes that I've seen show that. So I'm going to use fresh juice for this. I don't even know, can you buy blood orange juice? 1 whole blood orange. And then get 1 ounce of blood orange. And then grapefruit juice. So I want 1 ounce of my grapefruit juice because it's my primary acid, my primary tart flavor. All right, now I got my fruit juices. I'm going to get out my inspiration for this drink, my little blood monsters. These are little like flesh golems and things. Really creepy looking stuff. Like brain monsters. So when I'm making my own custom monster stats, I usually start with a base of something. I'll find like a flesh golem for these blood golem monster things. And then I try and give it a couple unique things to make it stand out. You really only need a couple because generally you're going to be surprised at how fast your players kill the things, first of all. On these, they got a whole bunch of tentacles, and I think it'd be really creepy if they moved really fast. So I'm going to give them like double fast movement. And then that'll be a cool like image of these squid tentacle flesh monsters moving super fast towards the players. Then I give it kind of a unique quality. Looking at these things are boneless, so they can move through enemy spaces. They can move through really small spaces. Then a unique ability. This one I call Touch It. Looking at this thing makes you just want to touch it. It's like so gross that you want to touch it. So they have an ability that compels a wisdom save, and if you fail, you have to approach it to touch it. Then a bonus action, a unique bonus action called Leech. So after a hit, they use their tentacles. They probably got some kind of barbs or suckers on the bottom they can use to drain life and restore their own life with it. And then a unique reaction for these things called Sacrifice. If they get hit, they can avoid the damage to it by sacrificing a limb, and they lose a melee attack for their next turn. So that's enough to make these creatures unique, something the players don't know about, and even if they've read through the entire monster manual, they wouldn't know what these monsters could do. Makes them interesting and memorable, and pretty terrifying, to be honest. Continuing on with my drink, I've got juices in here. I'm going to add my sweetener, 3/4 ounce of grenadine. Like I said, the blood orange juice is sweet in and of itself, so we can tone down the sweetener. And then my base, my passion fruit tea. Like I said, this tea is kind of bitter and tart. It's got also a unique passion fruit flavor. 3 ounces of this, so I'm going to go 1.5 and another 1.5. Not only does it fill out the drink volume-wise, but it imparts that undertone of passion, flavor, and bitterness, which is the hardest category to find when you're making mocktails. You know, cocktails, a lot of alcohols have bitter flavors to them. A lot of your modifiers have bitterness, so it's really hard to get bitterness out of non-alcoholic ingredients. Grapefruit has that. Passion fruit tea has it. A lot of teas do. If you oversteep black tea, it can get that bitter, astringent flavor that alcohol has. Okay, now I've got ice in the other end of my shaker. Dump it in, close it up, shake it up. I'm gonna shake this because it has fruit juice in it, and anytime I'm working with fruit juice, I want to shake to aerate. Now I've got this big old goblet here because I think it looks like creepy. I don't know. Looks like something Dracula would use. So this like big goblet, I'm gonna pour in my bloody mess. I'm gonna double strain it because I used fresh fruit juice. I want to get out all the pulp and ice chunks. I love that creepy yet enticing pink color. Gonna garnish it with a cocktail cherry. There's my bloody mess. Cheers. That's so good. Doesn't look quite as appetizing after I drink out of it. And now I was gonna do my intro, but now the glass is all goobered up. I've got an idea for this intro, but it's really creepy. I don't know if I should. What do people call it other than mocktail? That's just what I know it by, but apparently that's not a well-known thing. What's the word? I'm gonna keep saying cocktail instead of mocktail. Need to come up with another word in a non-alcoholic, non-mocktail. I don't know. Fuck it. Nope, that's gonna end up badly. Bonus points for whoever notices that the drawer closed in between shots.